Can we travel faster than light? Science fiction loves to speculate about this because warp speed, as faster than light travel is popularly known, would allow us to travel between stars in time frames otherwise impossibly long. And while it has not been proven to be impossible, the practicality of traveling faster than light renders the idea pretty far-fetched. In today's episode, we break down the universal speed limit at c equals 186,000 miles per second. The speed of light isn't just about the speed limit of light. Not only is it the speed at which massless particles travel through a vacuum, it's the speed of causality, the limit of which any amount of energy can traverse through space-time from point A to point B. You can think of it like a row of dominoes. You hit the first domino and wait for the energy to run through the line until it finally hits and knocks down the last one. What can't be done is hitting the first domino and getting the instantaneous reaction from the final domino. In the universe, there is no such thing as instantaneous. What we're discussing is communication. If I picked up a radio and sent a message to someone on the surface of Mars, it would take time before the signal can reach the receiver at its destination. It generally takes about 5 to 20 minutes for a radio signal to travel the distance between Mars and Earth, depending on the planet positions. The speed limit that everything in the universe must adhere to, or the universal constant, is about something much deeper than just the speed of light. The speed of light should really be called the speed of causality, causality being the relationship between cause and effect. Another way to think of causality is in relation to a concept known as the space-time interval, which states that causal connections are the only order of events that all observers from wherever they're positioned in the universe can agree on. In the theory of general relativity, the concept of causality is generalized in the most straightforward way. The effect must belong to the future light cone of its cause, and if the space-time is curved. New subtleties have been taken into account when we investigate causality in quantum mechanics and relativistic quantum field theories in particular, however. In quantum field theory, causality is closely related to the particles of locality. However, the principle of locality is disputed whether it strictly holds depending on the interpretation of quantum mechanics chosen, especially for experiments involving quantum entanglement that satisfy Bell's theorems, but I'll leave that for a future episode. Despite all these subtleties, causality remains an important and valid concept in physical theories. For example, the notion that events can be ordered into causes and effects is necessary to prevent or at least outline causality paradoxes such as the grandfather paradox, which asks, what happens if a time traveler kills his own grandfather before he ever meets the time traveler's grandmother? There are many other important reasons that causality is deeply ingrained into the fundamental laws of nature. The chronology protection conjecture is a hypothesis first proposed by Stephen Hawking, that the laws of physics prevent time travel on all but microscopic scales. The permissibility of time travel is represented mathematically by the existence of closed time-like curves in some solutions to the field equations of general relativity. We are of course talking about time travel to the past. See my video on special relativity for more information on time travel to the future. You can click on the annotation and I'll leave a link in the video's description. As we can see, the speed of light, or the speed of causality, isn't just a trivial number. Its significance is far broader than its role in describing a property of electromagnetic waves. It serves as the single limiting velocity in the universe, being an upward bound to the propagation speed of signals and to the speeds of all material particles. Unfortunately for us, there will be no faster than light travel through space-time anytime soon, and likely, never.
Wow, dude.
Because that volume of that Asian flute shit was way too way too loud.
Yeah, it did. Just so you guys understand what the fuck is happening, like, I have a background in science, and like, one of my biggest passions in life is general relativity, quantum mechanics, and like sharing physics. So I make videos like that video there, like educational videos that like share the passion of science with people if they care to like check it out. But that's an old
So,
video. They're all old videos at this point, like many years old, but like I still make stuff like that. I guess he's kind of like plugging my channel. I have a channel called Jesse Sweeney Science, and appreciate you doing that, Luke.
hell yeah, hell yeah. I'm sorry, I get distracted easily. So when you have volumes a little bit too high, when it comes to the background music, it takes away from what you're actually trying to get out. But I really appreciate it.
Yo,
One thing.
it was streamed like that. It was streamed like that, but it don't sound like that
Oh,
usually. It
okay,
was
gotcha.
streamed weird like that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um.
Oddly enough, it sounded. I heard it too, but yeah, it
All
don't
right.
normally sound like that. Yeah.
Oh, so no, that's actually great though. Um, as far as like, I'm getting to talk to the person that created it. Um, so you know how they say when you're close to objects of, I guess, extreme mass, like the pyramids of Giza, for example, they say that time slows down the closer you're to it compared to objects that are further away. Have you heard that?
Not the pyramids of Giza, but like mass and like in like real, like science. Yeah, like not conspiratorial stuff, but like science. Like if you get like in the movie Interstellar, like how they show that the people that went closer to the black hole like experienced it's called time dilation. We experience time different in two different ways. If you're either closer to a massive object, you'll experience like faster time, right? Or if you are traveling faster through space time, you'll experience different time. And we measure this all the time. Like when we first put satellites into orbit, the government was funding this project, right? So NASA was like, "Well, we put these satellites in orbit, but they're traveling 17,000 miles an hour around the Earth, right? They're in orbit, so they're going to experience time dilation." And they're like, "What do you mean, you crazy scientists? Like, what do you mean time dilation?" And they're like, "Oh, well, like time is experienced different for something that's traveling that fast than somebody who's sitting still on a massive object or a massive object." And they're like, "Okay, well, we'll fund this project, but this crazy shit you're talking about, time dilation, I want a switch that we could at least a button we could push, basically that will turn that on and off. The equations, Einstein's special relativity equations, we want to be able to turn those off. So when we put these satellites up in orbit, our GPS satellites, all the coordinates in your phone, our phone right now, the fact that we could look at each other right now over the internet at all, it relies on satellites, right? It would not work at all if we did not compensate for the time dilation equations and Einstein's theory of special relativity. So it's one of the many thousands and thousands of proofs that time is relative to your speed and your distance to a very massive object. As far as like the pyramids of Giza and all that stuff, like no, not like not in science. I don't know what
No,
Yeah.
I thought that was proven. Like, as far as it's like in the same, but like on a much smaller scale. Because
I
and
mean
it's not
it.
just Giza; it's all the pyramids or structures there that.
No, I mean it literally has to do with mass. It just has to do with
Yeah,
mass and speed, basically. It's like, but all cool shit. I it's cool that you're
yeah,
like into
like you
that kind of
said,
thing. But
it's not just because it's a pyramid, but I'm saying anything that has a lot of mass. So, like any
yeah,
object whose mass is very high, the
sure.
speed of time is going to slow down for it, and that has to do with Einstein's, theory of relativity.
Equations.
Your
Yeah,
relativity
yeah, special
or
and general
something?
relativity. Yeah, both of them. But however, the pyramids are not massive at all compared to the ground they're built on. You know what I mean? Or like the fucking Earth. So yeah, there are spots on the Earth where the gravity is higher because they're more dense. But it's barely. the crust of the earth is very like thin compared to the molten lava of the rest of it. It's all a molten ocean of fucking melted shit, and there's only a thin crust that we like surf on top
Yeah.
of the earth. So the differences between like the mass are just because at this time or that time it floated around on the inside of the earth, you know. Like a little pyramid of whatever, it wouldn't, it won't, it, you know what I mean? It wouldn't matter as far as mass.
Dude.
In science, I don't know, man.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. See, that's that right there. You see how you're breaking it down for me. For me, I'm not the best at it, but the fact of how you're breaking it down and in a way, in a easily digestible way, it's kind of makes me something that like, okay. Especially when you see it, when you see science working in life or in things that you deal with every day, it makes you have a whole new perspective for it. And
All day.
I
We're
was
talking over a phone that is highly based on the quantum mechanical laws that we've devised in the early 1900s, right? But like, you will see people argue against these laws on a fucking like object that is like depends on the laws what they're like derived from. You know what I mean? So yeah, like science is like very like, you know, we rely on it everywhere you look, dude. From the fucking air conditioner you're sitting in, from the fucking concrete you stand on, and the cars you drive, and the, you know.
Yeah, I was talking
Yeah.
to my wife yesterday. We were admiring like, cause you know on Switch you can get like the expansion pack, and you can get like all the like Sega Genesis games and NES. And
Yeah,
shit. And we're
emulators.
yeah, well, yeah, they have all that shit loaded in there. But basically, you can play all the old games. But we're admiring like the physics engines that they use for it. Like we're playing Donkey Kong Country, and I'm like, the physics in this game is so much different from like playing Mario, for example. Like
Okay.
like when they as soon as they put ice out there, they make them slide, differently, and then, it blew my mind. Like,
The laws that you build into the game. Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck yeah, dude.
right, and it's like those laws are trying to emulate real life. You know, it's like they took those laws and tried to make it like a smaller.
I think people
You know
take
what I mean? It's
for
like
granted how
yeah.
much science is involved and math is involved, and just the shit that we even use to relax, for fun, like playing video games and shit. Like the people that made that had to apply a lot of math in order for you to have that
I'm telling you,
that breathing
a lot of
space.
a lot of the stuff we take for granted, somebody had to put in the work to go make that happen, man. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna move on to the next subject so we can mosey on here. So right now we're gonna move on to number